Hello and welcome to the channel. We've got the 818 in the workshop today. We have a little problem with a leaking oil seal on the rear axle. Yeah, you can see traces of oil there on the wheel rim. Doesn't look that bad, but it needs looking at. And we suspect that there might be a problem with the bearing. We've just done one on the 720, but this looks like it's going to be a little bit easier, hopefully. There's less to take off. So anyway, let's get stuck into it and see what we find. Oh, I spoke too soon there, didn't I? It's this diesel tank goes all the way to there. And at the moment it's got about 220 litres of diesel in it, so it's going, just short a quarter of a tonne there. So we're going to have to take that off. Get the diesel out and take it off. In the meantime, I think I'll take this link arm off and one or two other things while we think about how we're going to do it. Well, it must be ready to come off. That's it. Ready to catch it.
A little bit more weight up, please. Well, there's a point, is it? Can't spin off, can it?
What would I for height?
Height on. Oh yeah, bottom left.
Oh, there somewhere. Right, so we've got it all apart. The tank off, which is the hardest job, but only because it's got about 220 litres of diesel in, so it's heavy. It's not actually bad to get off. And we've got the planetary gears out, and this is what we find. See how slack that nut is. So you can see those bearings moving in there. So that's the cause of our problem. So we just need to investigate now and see if there's any further damage. Probably replace these bearings. Right, we've decided that while we're this far into it, we might as well go a bit farther and investigate the brakes, see what they're like. So come with us on another voyage into the unknown. Oh. There she goes. About a litre in the bucket and another litre on the floor. Mind your head. Well, it's obvious where that goes, I hope. We'll get this apart and just check what the bearings are like. I think we'll just get two new bearings anyway for it. So the mistake I made when I did the 721 was I didn't measure how far in that seal is, and I got it wrong first time, so I had to redo it. So I'm just going to measure this one. And that's 8mm down in, which is what I set the other one to eventually, the second time I did it, but I put it too far in the first time, and then when we put it all back together and ran it, and it leaked oil again, so we had to take it out and put another new seal in. It wants to be 8mm down off this top surface. So that's the axle all reassembled. I didn't video that because I've done a video already on the 720 and it's exactly the same process. The bearings are the same, the oil seal is the same, everything. So if you want to watch that one, you'll see exactly how to do it. We've done a few other little jobs while we're in. We've put some new bushes in the front cab mounts on there. So we've just got really the tank to put back on and the wheel back on, and we're good to go. Well, that didn't go well. Got it all back together and I don't know, we've got something wrong somewhere in the brake, so I've stripped it back down again. Right, for the benefit of anyone like us who wants to do their own maintenance, I'll try and demonstrate what went wrong. Right, so your whole brake assembly, your discs and everything, just slide onto this shaft on the splines. But this shaft is free floating and it goes in and out. So when we've taken this end plate off and taken the first couple of discs off, we've somehow managed to get this shaft out a little bit. And we've had a look at the disc, put them back on, thought there's nothing wrong there. We'll just pop that back in and put the whole thing back together. Now I'll take this shaft out and show you what went wrong. So because these brakes run in oil and everything inside is coated in oil, the two flat surfaces of these discs tend to stick together, a little bit like magnetic. So when we've pulled the shaft out a little ways, it's been far enough that this disc, the inner disc, has stuck to the back plate and it's dropped off the end of the splines and just slid out of the way slightly and been out of line. Now when we've got all the brake assembly in there, you can't see this back disc, the inner one. So we put it back together. The splines haven't lined up with the shaft, and as we've tightened it up, all it's done is it's bent that in over. So it's completely ruined the disc. So if you can imagine this is the shaft when it's in place, and this disc is stuck to the back plate of the tractor, and we pulled the shaft out and it's just dropped off the end of those splines and dropped slightly out of line. And as we pushed it back together, well, that's the damaged disc. See the bend in it. See this all dished out, so it hasn't lined up. So hopefully we can put it back together right this time. But before we do that, I'll have a brew and I'll show you what I've been doing while I've been waiting for the new disc to arrive. So this is a new axle that I'm making for the Scott Ben sheep handling system. So that axle will bolt on under there. One or two, some of these outriggers. I made some new ones of those, so we'll get those fitted when I finish the tractor, hopefully. Yeah, this thing had a close encounter with a telegraph pole, a bit too close really, and as a result the axle's running somewhat out of line, as you can see from that. Also, well, this might be interesting to some of you. This framework that I'm making is going to bolt on the underside of a Discovery TD5 body so that we can stand it up on its end to underseal it. And there we have our CAD drawings. I think he said CAD. Was it CAD? Might have been bad. I don't know. Anyway, that's our schematic of the next stage. We're going to put a new galvanised chassis on. The old girl, that's the old one laid there, or part of it. Anyway, let's get back to work on the tractor. So that's the brake reassembled. It is actually pretty straightforward, as long as I don't make the same cock up that I made last time. So I've just got to slide this plate on now. Get it on the right way around. Right, that's better. That's gone all the way on. We don't have to wind it on with the bolts. So, and there's still a bit of play on there, so we've got nothing nipped like last time. So here goes. Pop the bolts back in. I hope I've got it right. Well, that's her back together just about. I've still got a few jobs to do. I need to put the steps back on, replace the oil, obviously put the wheel back on, and then she's ready to go back to work. Now if you're wondering why we take these jobs on and we don't know what we're doing, there's a couple of reasons really. Firstly, you only get experience by actually doing the job, and we have learnt a lot about how the brake works, how the bearings work. And we've replaced the bearings in this side. The other side's done the same amount of hours, so that's going to be to do shortly anyway. And secondly, if you've ever had one of these in at a main dealer, you'll know how bloody expensive it is. So even though I've taken it apart twice and I've had to replace a disc, it's still more cost effective for us to do it ourselves. So there you have it, really. That's why we do it. So if you've enjoyed this video or found it useful, give it the thumbs up, and I'll see you in the next one.